Staring at his monitor all day hurts his eyes after a while, but it is no great suffering. There are worse ways to earn a living. He enjoys the work. He does not necessarily see it as a long-term thing. He is a qualified coach, too, and wonders if he might like to do something with that. But he is in no rush. He feels a debt of gratitude to the company. Many people in the Philippines lost their jobs during the pandemic, he said. But we stayed open. They allowed us to keep working. His manager, Leo Lachmuth, a gregarious, fresh-faced German, boss Leo to his staff, remained in Manila throughout. It showed commitment, Flores said. More than that, Lachmuth set about finding ways to make his employees' lives easier, setting up 3 regional offices outside Manila to help people continue to work. Settled in, Flores gets to work. On his contract, he's employed as a data operator. That does not, particularly, offer an insight into precisely what it is he does, and so he and his colleagues have come up with another way of describing themselves. Their job is to watch football matches. Every time something happens, anything at all, they click a shortcut on their keyboard. They do it over and over again for several games a week. They do it for hundreds and thousands of hours of football every year. They call themselves taggers, and they are the very first building block in the sprawling, lucrative data industry that has, over the last 2 decades, come to dominate the sport. The training at Packing Sports, the Manila-based division of Impact, a German data analysis company that counts some of Europe's biggest clubs, Bayern Munich and Paris Saint-Germain included among its clients, lasts a couple of weeks. On Flores' first day, he was tasked with tagging the same game that all new starters get: Germany's demolition of Brazil in front of a shell-shocked, mournful Maracana in the 2014 World Cup semi-final. The choice is not solely rooted in triumphalist nostalgia, according to Lucas Kepler, Impact's managing director. It is because it was the first game that really highlighted the difference between our data and what you normally see, he said. If you looked at that game, Brazil had more shots, more passes, more corners, but Germany won 7-1. It told you that those statistics were not telling the right story from the game. Impact's approach is different. The company's foundational metric, the piece of information it is looking for from a game, is known by the slightly uncomfortable anglicism of packing. It is, at heart, a measure of how many opposition players are bypassed by any single action on the pitch. It does not matter what form that takes. A quick short pass that goes beyond 2 rival players carries the same weight as a languid, mazy dribble that does the same. It is a way of gauging, in other words, how effective a player and a team are at manoeuvring the ball up the field, at evading opponents, at creating danger. Germany's packing measures in that game against Brazil were vastly superior. Joachim Löw's team won, at least in Impact's thinking, because it took more players out of the game more effectively than its opponent. Neophyte taggers do not have to gauge that immediately. When Flores sat down at a screen for the first time, he was told to go through the game painstakingly, looking out for just 2 things. Every time a player touched the ball, he had to count how many opponents were between the ball and the goal and input it into the system. Next, he had to estimate how much pressure the player with the ball was under, how close the nearest opponent was when the ball arrived, and input that. Pressure, Lachmuth admits, is a little subjective, the sort of thing a tagger can only learn with time and experience. Impact has a scale of pressure, but the company does not pretend it is absolute, objective. There are certain boundaries, Lachmuth said. It is still, though, enough to give an idea of how difficult what the player did once in possession might have been. That first experience of tagging can, Lachmuth said, take hours, even days. Once they have finished, their work is quality controlled, checked for errors, assessed. Nobody gets it right first time. They go back again and again until they've got it to the sort of standard Impact requires. Only then are they allowed to move on to the second phase of their training, picking any game at all in the company's archive and tagging that one. Most of the taggers are football fans. Most choose a game featuring the team they support. This time, though, the task is more complicated. They are now tagging 4 different metrics. As well as the number of defenders and the pressure on the ball, they must denote the height the ball arrived